Yeah, I was very fortunate. After House Guild closed, I thought, well, the writing's on the wall. The Queen Heart Furnace was going to come online, and the prospects weren't looking very good for concerts, so I tended to look for other employment before the steelworks closed, and I left in the October, November 79, and I went to British Gas. But I served my time as a fitter and turner, and the opportunity came. I worked at various parts as an apprentice at Hounsgill. I did my spell in the drawing office like we all had to do, and I learned quite a bit in the drawing office. And there was an opportunity to train as an instrument mechanic at the steelworks, and which I took that opportunity to learn an extra skill. And I worked at the blast furnaces for 73 to 79 before I left. And it gave us a good foundation where I got a job as an instrument technician for British Gas, where I worked there for 32 years till I retired. But if it wasn't for the steelworks, I don't think I would have been able to move on and get the opportunities to learn the skills that I did learn. With being a mechanical, you never think you're going to work with electronics. Moved into electronics itself. The basic instrumentation that was there was a great skill to learn, and things moved on and progressed, and I went back to college, learned a few more skills, and had a good, successful career within the British Gas structure. And I've been retired coming up 4 years now, which I'm really enjoying, and reminiscing about the steelworks, and we still spend many a happy hour going through our experiences in the steelworks, talk to old workmates from various departments, because it was a vast area. You know, you had the steel plant employed so many people, Hounsgill, the fitting shops, you had the engine sheds where I served my time, the blast furnaces. It was a vast area. And when I first started, I worked as an office boy in a time office. So I had the opportunity long before I became an apprentice and moved around, that I used to go right away around the steelworks, racking all the time cards. And I met a lot of the old hands on the old melting shop. Met the men in the billet mill who were the rollers on the coggin, the lads on the flying shears, and all the stock takers and everything like that. So before I even started working as an apprentice, I knew quite a bit what was happening in the steelworks, and it was a fantastic time. It's a great miss, and I feel sorry that there's an era gone now that a lot of young children and will never ever experience the camaraderie, the fun that we had. Very, very hard, very dangerous. Paddy and I worked at the blast furnaces. John used to come over to the blast furnaces, and there were some frightening moments, especially when you got the blowouts on the furnace because you got no warning. And there was one poor guy, he was the shift manager at the time, he got caught out on #1 furnace, and he'd had very serious injuries and he died because of them. And it was a terrifying experience. It wasn't all just fun. There was a lot of hard work done, but it was a dangerous job. And a lot of people did lose their lives, maybe sometimes unnecessarily, but other times because of the circumstances that prevailed, like the gas cleaning plant, when there was X amount of men got gassed, but there was more men died going in trying to rescue them. There was more people died trying to rescue the men that actually were gassed. And those experiences have been passed on. But at that time, and it was still always a threat when you worked at the blast furnaces, the carbon monoxide, that you could be poisoned. But if I could go back, I would. I really would, and I would. I know concert itself and Derwentsside is very much better off environmentally. I think it's a great loss to the community, and we will never ever get full-time employment that we probably had in the earlier days, and we still have one of the highest rates of unemployment in the country. And that's an awful thing to have to live with, and the prospects is not going to be there for young kids to learn skills and get a foundation to move on and progress.
What about yourself?
I worked in the technical department
as a fitter and turner. They had a small workshop at the back of this, the laboratories, etc., etc. And I did the maintenance for that. But it was a great place to work because a lot of them worked out on the plant. And if anybody wanted anything done, can you come out and have a look at this? I was down the steelworks, in the foundry odd times. You know, I got about like that, doing jobs for the lads who worked in the technical department, the scientists, shall we say. Getting about was great. The workshop itself, as I say, had a lathe, shaper, miller, a couple of saws, and I ended up in charge of that my last 4 years there. And I was the most popular lad in the plant. Anybody wanted a Guvvy job, go down and see Toddy. I did my own stick welding, I did my own gas welding, I did the old burning, anything they wanted, I popped down and see him. The number of people who give me packets of cigarettes for doing the job for them, and I didn't smoke. It was good. But when the company actually shut, I went on a skills centre course at the Langley Moor. Did electrical fitting. Not an electrician, electrical fitting, but you get some of the groundwork into it. I thought, wait, I've done the fitting side of it. If I get this behind us, and I passed my driving test round about that time, I thought, well, if I've got to travel, or if I've got to be somebody technical going out in a van, I've got it all. And the electrical experience, because it was a fitter then and it was an electrician then, and never the two shall meet, you know. But it just so happens there was a firm setting away down Delves Lane, a heat treatment plant, and that was furnace work. And I thought, with the electrical I've got, wait, they're knocking on my door straight away, because the lad who set it up was from the technical department, and he took me on straight away, where I was putting furnaces in and all sorts, wiring them up, bolting them down. I mean, I wouldn't say that, I'd say the wiring left it a bit desirable, like. It wouldn't have passed health and safety, I don't think, but we got them furnaces going up and going. And the big difference between the company and private industry is you find out what work is. Guvvy jobs, yeah, time like that, the number of times you go in the company, you can stand and talk and, you know, nothing to do with work. You just kind of do that in private industry. You've got to get your nose down, you've got to get on with it. And I think a lot of people would have got a shock when they moved into the private side of things.
So did you stay with that company, did you?
Yes, I finished there. And I come back to what Joe said, if that place was still open, I'd have still been there, rather than that. Much better. The atmosphere, we've discussed everything over the last few weeks about the social life, etc., and it's gone now, that. And you'll never match that again.